Welcome to the CEO Insider Podcast, powered by YTexas. My name is Sandy McElry. This is Ed Curtis.
Hello, Sandy. How are you?
I'm doing good, and our guest today is the CEO of Briggs Freeman Sotheby's International Realty. He is in North Texas. Robbie Briggs joins us. Hi, Robbie.
Hey, how are you? Good morning, Sandy.
I'm doing good. The last time I saw you, and I don't expect you to remember this, but was in Fort Worth.
It was at the Perot.
Exactly.
Circle T Ranch.
Yeah,
I do remember that. Of course.
And I think I was driving you a little bit crazy, talking to you about the ranch that you sold, the Wagner Ranch.
Yeah, exactly.
That was interesting. It was very, very interesting. So, interesting times that we are in right now with the Corona-19 pandemic and people sheltering in place. Now, your area got that. On like the 22nd or 3rd of March?
Was what?
Shelter in place?
Shelter in place?
Yeah.
Ours was, it was Sunday. Mm-hmm. This Sunday is when we actually got the mandate of shelter in place. We had already been under some jurisdiction, and we had closed our offices a week ago Monday, and but we were still operating, still showing property. Sunday night, however, Dallas came down with a mandate that basically precluded that, and then just following, Fort Worth has they one of the things that was a problem was Dallas made the mandate but didn't make things clear of what is essential business and what is not essential business. Fort Worth came out with a very clear statement that said realtors are not to show property. So that made it very, very clear to us what we could and couldn't do. So even though we were doing most of what we have been doing by virtual online, now the only thing we can do is virtual online.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I have a great closing line for all of your agents when they start showing property again. And I'm going to give you this free, no charge.
Okay.
No charge for this, Robbie.
I'm ready.
Because we go way back. You have to ask your buyer, is this a home you can see yourself quarantined in?
Exactly. Exactly. Kidding. And I think there are people sitting at home today that are going, I have got to get a new house. This is not going to work.
I would imagine that this is good for your online presence.
It is, and that's one of the things. I've got sellers that say, well, should I take my house off the market? And I say, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You have to realize that even though these are really unprecedented times and we probably can't sell your house right now. We can try, but we probably can't. But your buyers are at home stuck, mm-hmm. and all they have to do is go online. That's what they're spending their time doing. And if your house is not there, you're missing that. Because mm-hmm. when it does reopen, they're going to be coming out of the droves, and they're going to already say, I saw a house here. I want to go see that. I want to go see that. So I think now is a very important time for sellers to have their property on. And that's one of the things we are telling our agents. One of the things you can be doing right now is making sure that your photography is up to snuff, that if you've got videos, you're getting them uploaded, you're doing everything you can. Change it up, make it fresh, do whatever you can for every single one of your listings, and make sure that just make sure that they're presenting their properties as well as they can.
Right.
Well, I'm glad you put a positive spin on this, because I think the question everyone has is, when things come back, is real estate going to come back? Are there larger houses going to take a hit? How's it going to affect the market? And I guess what I'm hearing from you is it's not going away. It's coming back, just a matter of time.
Well, I do believe that. I don't think I'm Pollyannish into thinking that this is going to be easy coming back, because there are people that have literally lost fortunes in this last few weeks, and the oil business is at an all-time low. My friends that are in the oil business, they're as nervous as they've ever been. People have lost a great amount of money in the stock market, and yet others have actually made money. So it's, and some companies are just sucking wind, and others are, I imagine Amazon's profits are up. I mean, everybody's sitting home ordering from Amazon. So there's different businesses that are being affected differently. But the pent-up demand was already there. One of the things that if you look at 2008 compared to today, 2008 was a housing problem. Today is not a housing problem. There was great demand for real estate, and there was a shortage of properties. So that was in the seller's court. I think when we come out of this, there's going to be more houses that will have come on the market and fewer that have sold. So it'll be a little bit softer in that sense. Pricing will just have to be that much more realistic. But I don't think it's going to come to a halt. I think it's going to come back pretty strong.
Robbie, one of the things you mentioned earlier that I think is an interesting thing to touch on. I was talking to a friend of mine last night who manages people's money. And what he found himself right now as the market is going crazy is being a person that can provide good information. And I think that translates to your work, too, with people calling you saying, should I put my house on the market? Your job is to be a bit of a counselor and also provide good information and then let them make their decisions. I think that's more important than ever right now, especially in your world.
It is. And that's what I'm telling my agents is, guys, you all are the voice of reason. You all are the voice of, consulting right now and calming people down. And that's your role today, is to be the expert, but at the same time, be the expert that cares, making sure that people are okay and making sure that, you're giving them good advice and keeping them up to breast and just, being there for them.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I mean, everyone has equity in their home. I'm sure everyone's looking at their entire financial picture and saying, what's my next step?
Sure.
So this is important. Robbie, you and I talked about all of the corporate relocation coming to Texas. Obviously, you were a big factor in helping a lot of the folks from Toyota. Do you see that changing or helping the situation? People will still be coming here, right?
Well, I think I absolutely do think they'll be coming here, and a lot of it will come out down to what do state by state. How are they approaching this? Is our state going to make governmental decisions that are actually benefiting the people that live here? Are they going to, and if they continue to lead in the way that they have in the past and be pro-business and be, forward thinkers, then our state will still look to be the place to live. And people that are sitting in states that are not, and that have, that are going to be really leaning towards just higher taxes, et cetera, those people are sitting at home looking at their financials, looking at the numbers, looking at everything, and they could be very well sitting there right now making a decision. When this gets over, we're moving to Texas. Yeah. And I believe that. Even
if it's just for more space, people might not want to live on top of each other as much as they do on the East Coast.
Right.
They're fleeing, if you will. Something I want to also ask you about, it's having done all the work, the missionary work that you have done in China for many years. Were you keeping an early eye on this virus, and two, personally, how do you see it, having spent so much time there?
Well, we still have a son that lives in China and a daughter that lives in China, and both of them have, it was interesting when this broke. They were both at a conference in the Philippines, and so they had to make the decision: were they going back in or were they not? My son really made the decision that he and his family were moving back in, and they moved back to their city, Xiamen, which is on the southern coast of China, quite a bit of distance from Wuhan, which was the center. But there were definitely cases of people that had gotten the coronavirus there, and some even had died. but he just, they were quarantined. My son, his wife, and 4 kids quarantined in their apartment until just recently, and they were fine. Today, they are loosening in China, basically stating that they're on the better side of the coronavirus. But at the same time, I saw my son at a park with another family. He sent us pictures of them playing football or whatever in a park. Our daughter, on the other hand, chose not to go back into China, and partly that's because she's diabetic, juvenile diabetic, and that's, they talk about the coronavirus really being susceptible to people that have autoimmune diseases, etc. So she chose not to. So she is currently living in Taiwan, not very far from China, but waiting until things are much better to move back into mainland China. So I do think things are better there, but I don't think things are probably as good as they say they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, everyone's having to deal with this differently. So your staff, you've got a lot of agents. You and I spoke a little bit about the quarantining, obviously, with your agents, but their interaction with their clients, some of the options out there for mobile notary, anything that your industry is doing that will probably continue after this gets back to normal?
Well, I do think it's changed the way we've done business. I mean, one of the cute stories is I had an agent text me that said that they taught their 87-year-old client last week how to DocuSign, and she indeed bought a house last week. So, that's phenomenal. Well, that's true of our agents too. I would say that a large group of our agents were tech savvy, but another whole section of our agents, were not. Probably never been on a Zoom call, probably hardly done FaceTime. And so they're all having to learn tools that they should know anyway, but now they're getting comfortable with them. We had our Zoom office meeting on Monday, just 2 days ago, or yesterday, or whatever it is.
Right.
And there were 300 people on it. Wow. And it went great. In fact, I think it was, I look at it and say, that's really one of the best office meetings we've had, period. Do we really even need to meet as a group like that anymore? And, everything was there. People could talk in, people could chat in. It was awesome. And of course we want to meet together and be face to face. That's nothing replaces that, but I think we'll be a lot more technological and savvy about it. I mean, I've always just had somebody do it for me. I'm having to learn it myself. Then that's good,
Yeah. Did you ever think you'd be where you are now after 60 years? Right? Is this your 60th year for the company?
This is our company's 60th year, and no, I did not think I did not think that I was going to be celebrating our 60th year at home in my pajamas. So, and that, of course, I'm kidding about the pajamas, because that's one of the things I told my agents today on another conference meeting. You have got to treat these days. This is not a snow day. This is a work day, and you've got to get up just as early as you ever had and put your mind to doing things that you've never done before, and spend your day very effectively. And I think people are being very effective. If they don't have actually some business to do, well, they can get online and learn something.
Sure. Yeah.
It's a tremendous opportunity for all of us to learn and grow, and then at the same time have some quiet time to reflect and see what's really important, and being grateful for what we do have. And so it's not fun. I don't like it. I wish we weren't in it, but at the same time, I think it's actually going to be great when we come out of it. We'll look back and think that we've learned a lot.
I think Mother Nature has put us all in time out for being jerks. That's what I think's going on.
Yeah,
Robbie,
yeah.
it's always good visiting with you. And if anyone's going to lead the way here, I know it'll be you and your group of people.
Well, thank you, Sandy. That's very kind. And thanks for what all you guys are doing. And thank you, Ed, for YTexas and what you're doing and continuing to pull our companies together and building a better place for all of us to live.
Well, I appreciate that. You've always been there for us, too, so I appreciate it.
Okay. Y'all have a great day.
All right, Robbie, take care of yourself.
Thanks.
All right, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good information for people to know. Keep moving.
Absolutely. Keep going forward.
Yeah.